Hi, how are you?
Princess!
Who am I here with today?
Hi, I'm Krishanna Marie.
Krishanna, it's a
My,
pleasure meeting
a
you.
pleasure to meet you as well.
I heard a lot of great stuff about your path, what you were built, how did you get into tech? Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so I am kind of a non-technical technical person. So my background is in geographic information systems, which is GIS and mapping. So when I was younger, I was dyslexic
You
and
were dyslexic?
yeah, so I would see letters and numbers really backwards, and it was like a unique learning experience. So I
Wow.
gravitated towards a lot of art and design that was like spatial. So, like a lot of shapes, colors, things like that. And so I
Wow.
found myself attached to mapping and GIS mapping. So I had this like directional pull to always say, hey, where's my north arrow? So that was
Okay.
kind of like my start in tech. And then on the non-technical side, it's just like me being a community leader or active and curious about like the creative world, the culture, and a place of belonging.
Yeah. If you can answer this question honestly, which one would you prefer out of those two that you just mentioned? Being like a tacky, foundery stuff, or you would rather like choose the community leader path?
Um, I'm a behind the scenes person.
Okay.
I like being the person behind the scenes that puts the framework together
Mm.
and watch the framework like whatever play is at play, I like to watch the play
Okay.
happen.
Okay. And as someone who grew up basically dyslexic and became, a really great back in tech, what were your main struggles when you first started out?
I think one of my main struggles was I was constantly misunderstood in a classroom
Mm.
where some teachers thought I was like gifted and other
Okay.
teachers thought, hey, she's not veering towards the path I want, but I was naturally very rebellious.
You were.
And I took my ambition wherever my heart was. So my ambition and heart kind of are always my alignment.
That's so impressive. And what was your first success in the tech industry? What was the moment when you felt that, okay, I can be good in this field?
I think the first real moment I felt like my heart beat like really big was when my friend Pata told me I had brand equity in tech inclusion
Mm.
because I didn't know what brand equity was. I didn't know what a go to market strategy was. I wasn't really around the proper community.
Mm.
I chose like a specific lane, but he said you have brand equity because you care about tech inclusion, but I didn't know what tech inclusion really meant
Okay.
for me. And that was because I was trying to find community. I didn't have a community, so I was actively searching for
Mm.
community. And then I found brand equity, which kind of gave me purpose into digital inclusion.
And what would you say? How much of a success you're actually seeing in the future for yourself with birth? Will you be able to compare it to your past success?
I think this is beyond anything I could have ever imagined. So Worth is strategically partnered with Trabaja Co.
Mm.
Trabaja means tribe and work, and we focus on tech inclusion for Black, Brown, Latinx, and Indigenous people. And how I got introduced to Trabaja Co. is somebody sent me this application to become like a culture leader, and I was like, oh, this seems cool. This seems like my lane. Let me try. I filled out the application and I actually wasn't selected
No way.
as the Florida culture leader. So
Hmm.
the person who was selected, I DM'd her in LinkedIn and was like, "What's up?"
No way.
I sent her my portfolio and I was like, I raised $31 million for the county and I did it without having a clue. All I knew is I had a heart and I cared about the people on the other side. Let's work.
Oh yeah.
That was my
Oh
message to
yeah.
her. We jumped on a call a week later. We bonded over her being not represented as a Black woman in Haitian descent here. And then that was kind of like the jump shot
Yeah. That's
into
so
the work that
interesting.
I'm doing now. And this strategic partnership represents something that resonates with the kids. We're all collectors in some
Yeah.
shape or form. I became a collector because my dad used to collect old ties, old Star Wars stuff, little trinkets and whatnots. And so I was like, whatnots and trinkets. We go to abuela's house and we're like, why do you have this?
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, that might be worth something. And
Exactly.
so that's where the alignment started.
That's so interesting. You said you raised $31 million as someone who grew up dyslexic, right? Is that true?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So how it worked, I was in a governmental role over tech inclusion portfolios, and we started to evaluate, do a case study on the digital divide. So we started to have questions about risk and resilience, and part of resilience was attributing to utilities. What are a person's basic needs? Food, water, shelter, and now internet. And internet is a primary source of economic mobility now. So what does it look like when you activate internet inside of your neighborhood? Do the kids know how to use the internet to their greater good? What happens when that telecommunication tower comes into a neighborhood that is despaired, and who holds the decision making and the power over that? And through those case studies, I found that Miami-Dade County had a huge digital divide in the neighborhoods that I represent: North Miami Beach, Liberty City, Wynwood area, Little Haiti.
Interesting.
And so I was like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So I reverse engineered the digital equity process with 15 nonprofits, and I brought all those nonprofits that never spoke to each other, never wanted to work with each other, and brought them into the same room to have
Wow.
a stakeholder conversation to go chase to chase essentially those grants together
Yeah.
instead of separately. And that's what unified the mission there.
That's so
And there was a
great.
lot of community support that rallied behind that. So it was
Wow.
not a one person job. Let's be clear there.
But yeah, but it's still huge. And like, since it is that huge, would you be able to share one most important core lesson you have learned from that moment? What would that be?
Oh, a core lesson from that. Always figure out a way to iron the wrinkles out in what you're committed to do for your community.
I love it.
Iron out the wrinkles
I love it.
in the process.
I love it. So there is no turning back.
There's no turning
No
back.
turning back at all.
Ever. The iron's hot. It's
I love
always
it.
on. It's
Yes.
always on now.
I
Yeah.
love it. Thank you so much for this
Thank
meeting. It was
you.
lovely to chat with you.
Lovely to
Thank you
chat with
so
you.
much.